You that your ruling state stands. Mr. Speaker, I forwarded a video to you. I know because you are sitting where you are, probably you didn't listen to it. But Mr. Speaker, I can see the anger in my colleague, and I agree with him. He has every reason to be upset. But I can say on authority, yesterday I wasn't here. I've listened to the tape like 10 times. Was Ukraine evacuation mentioned? Yes, it was mentioned. Was e-levy mentioned? Yes, it was mentioned. So you see, you don't determine the editorial policy of a news portal. You may not be happy. You can write to either media commission and raise your concern. But I can bet you, the video is here, I can forward it to you. You mention Ukraine evacuation and you link it to e-levy approval. Here, the video I've forwarded, Mr. Speaker. If he challenges, I can play it now for all of us in this chamber to hear. So please, let's not take our anger onto the floor when you know that Joy Evans doesn't have audience on this floor. And you and I are politicians, and we know the avenues to address when a newspaper or news media does something you don't like. But you cannot try to take advantage of your presence in the chamber at their disadvantage when you know they don't have hearing in the chamber. And their speaker has ruled that leadership should go and sit, put our heads together to be able to come out with something. You are insisting that you want a solution now. If it is the solution you want now, I have listened to the tape more than 20 times. You mention Ukraine evacuation will cost money, and it is the reason we should leave all this politicking. Dollar is having challenges. That is why e-levy must be approved. You said it. The video is here. I've forwarded it to all of them. So you may disagree the way they captured the headline, but it is not for us to tell a news portal how their headline should be. I told, please, let's allow speaker's ruling to stand. Let's meet in conclave, look at the thing together, and if there's genuinely a reason why what you want to be done, as a house, we can come together. But you cannot insist in the chamber that you want it to be done your way. That cannot be right. Because I have listened to the video, and I'm convinced beyond reasonable doubt that if someone decides to link it, the person will be right. But let's allow the speaker's ruling to stand.
With respect, Mr. Speaker, with respect. Mr. Speaker, with respect, hear me. Mr. Speaker, sometimes we may only act for posterity. Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, it is rich to hear you advocating in this manner. It is very rich to hear you advocating in this manner. I would subject all your comments to posterity and pray that we don't end our politics all too soon. But for the avoidance of doubt and for the records, Mr. Speaker, these are not mine. I can take this, but I want to rest the matter. This is from Hansard. These were my comments. Mr. Speaker, I will read it. I have the video. Mr. Speaker, with respect. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, you allowed him to make the point.
I have to catch a flight.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, it may be you tomorrow. If you put an end to it, I will rest. You rule. But Mr. Speaker, we are in this house. I need to make the point. I am not attacking an editorial policy of Joy FM. I am talking about an untruth. Mr. Speaker, all I am saying is, I never said, and the record per video and the transcript would bear me out, I never said that we need e-levy to evacuate Ghanaians from Ukraine. I never said that. Excuse me, Muntaka, you are not the one to say this. Muntaka, from how you have suffered at the hands of misreportage, you are not the one to say this. Muntaka, you are not the one. The trauma you suffered, you are not. Let me read aloud. Mr. Speaker, let me read aloud. As a nation, read, listen, unless you are questioning the transcript. Let me read. As a nation,
leader,
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I would beg of you with the greatest respect. Mr. Speaker, I beg of you with the greatest respect. He made his point. Mr. Speaker, I beg of you with the greatest respect. He made his point. Let me make my point. After that, I would make my final comment to raise the matter. I may not even want you to proceed with your ruling. I said, let it be, but we are here. Let me make my point. As a nation, Ghanaian businesses which are supposed to do well to pay taxes will suffer. Businesses will not do well as expected, and projections will be affected. That is the reality. And I must bring this to the attention of all of us, so that any policy that will be introduced will be seen in that light. Then I came to Honorable, wait, you were not here, wait. Then Honorable Aveji passed a comment which was not into the market. Then I responded. I said the Honorable Minority Leader did not speak into the microphone. But if he is talking about the e-levy, this is a more important reason why we need it. He did not speak into the microphone. But if he's talking about e-levy, that was the next point I was going to make. That we should congregate around it and even find a way of generating revenue as a country to save the situation. This is because we are not in normal times. Honorable Harry Nedrusu could not have raised this matter at a better time than now. This is a patriotic call. Mr. Speaker, what is your problem? Excuse me, if you allow. I have not ended. Let me finish. Mr. Speaker, the Harry Nedrusu, the patriot and a Ghanaian, who is looking at the reality, has brought to our attention this important international issue. We do not live in isolation, but live within ECOWAS and AU blocks and are a member of UN. We are part of the world economy, and I'm saying that our economy is being affected and will be affected. We should look at the reality. Businesses will be affected. I am a businessman and I know what is happening. Lawyers will be affected. Entrepreneurs will suffer because of this Ukraine situation. Many of our compatriots import from Ukraine, Eastern and Western Europe. Import will be obstructed. Booking vessels will not be as it should be. Government revenue at our ports will be affected. How? Okay, as we continue, Mr. Speaker, we should know that. We should know, and that is why Honorable Drisu brought this to our attention. With all of this, we should know that an innovative way to generate revenue in this crisis to sustain social intervention program as a country. Then interruption. Mr. Speaker, I am the pro tem leader of the House, and if they do not want me to speak on their behalf, Mr. Speaker, that was the intervention. Which other statement? I have all the transcripts and I have the video. I am saying, let us be fair. The position of Joy FM is that I have said that we need e-levy to evacuate Ghanaians from Ukraine. And I've repeated that I have not said that we need e-levy to evacuate Ghanaians from no. Please. Wait. Mutaka. You are not the one to behave like this. But don't worry, I will start from the beginning and we'll raise this matter. Mr. Speaker, let me start from the beginning.
Honorable Leader, Honorable, you've read it. We heard it.
I brought the application. If there can be directive for Joy FM to pull down this story, no problem. I will not want to have leadership to deal with it. I will withdraw my application. If it is a partisan, no problem. Do it. But we are here. We are here.
Honorable Leader.